you doing? I'm Michael Bell, the voice of Duke.
Hi, this is Adrienne Palicki, Lady J from G.I. Joe.
Hey there, it's Rachel Nichols, aka Scarlett.
And if you're listening...
And you're listening...
And you are listening to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe with Greg and Jaren.
Yo, Joe!
It's Greg and Jaren on the mic. Let's go. Time to dive into the world of G.I. Joe. From comics to toys, cartoons to flicks. Exploring every era, get your nostalgia fix. Classified secrets to vintage finds. Analyzing story arcs, collecting toy lines. Whether you're a pro or a new recruit, join the team, grab your gear, follow suit. It's Anything Joe's, your frontline crew. Every facet of the Joe world we're searching through. Yo, Joe, Cobra, the battle's begun. A collaborative journey, let's have some fun.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Anything Joe's, a collaborative journey through the world of G.I. Joe. My name is Greg Engel.
And I'm Jaren Decker.
And we'll be your host today. Today on Anything Joe's, we're going to dive into the most recent announcements of classifieds. We have a lot of classifieds to get caught up on. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. We've got a lot of them to cover in a small amount of time. So let's dive right in. The first figure, we're going to back up just a little bit from this most recent wave and talk about two figures that have already gone up for pre-order. They were kind of like almost off on their own. And the first one is the Ninja Force Zartan, which was a Target exclusive. Jaren, when I saw this figure, I immediately was like, that's a Jaren figure. There's a specific type of classified character that I just know will appeal to you. Zartan V2 this is what he was based on. He came out in the Ninja Force era. In the vintage line, it was very exciting because we did not get some characters in multiple iterations. This was the only other time we saw a Zartan in the vintage line. And to many people's dismay at that time, it was such a radical departure in terms of design. He looks completely different. He's got a whole other vibe going on in this. And so I was surprised to hear it announced, and I'm genuinely surprised at what a great execution they've done with it. This has never been a fan favorite. I feel like the original Zartan design is very iconic and is pretty much used across the board. As a matter of fact, in the A Real American Hero comic, he uses this outfit once as a disguise, and then it is right back to normal. And it's not hard to see why. He's got a gigantic orange mohawk. He's wearing full-on biker stuff. I mean, like, there's no disguise part of this. He would stand out in any crowd looking like this. But it's still a great throwback to the original figure. And I have to admit that I'm really quite won over by it. In the same way that when they make like Snake Eyes V, insert any number here, and you're like, this is not my favorite Snake Eyes, but it's still cool to see figures from my childhood getting the classified treatment, like not being left on the wayside. I can appreciate it from that perspective at the very least. Let's take a look at this Ninja Force Zartan. So I've already discussed kind of the high points. Big orange mohawk, no cowl. He's got a leather jacket with like a bunch of chains and zippers and stuff on it. He's got these green pants that have been toned down a little bit from the neon era green pants that he had. He's got quite a bit of accessories just in this initial picture. I see like a kind of a ninja claw. I don't know what you'd call that kind of weapon. He's got his classic bow and arrow because that's something he's well known for. He's got a crazy, like, it looks like a Highlander sword or something on his back. We'll look at these other pictures. Okay, so here you can see, he's got two swords that can be sheathed behind him. And then he's got purple, like, boots on. This all matches up with the Zartan V2 from the vintage line. This Zartan was an exclusive to Target and Hasbro Pulse. And I probably would have missed it if Joel hadn't got in our chat and said, hey, this guy's probably going to be hard to get. And sure enough, 1 minute into it, the Hasbro Pulse had already sold out. It had not even gone live on Target at that time. But Joel, I was literally like, do you see a Target link? And Joel came through and was like, here it is, I found it. And so I was able to pre-order this guy. Jaren, I know you've been very belt tight about pre-ordering classified figures recently. So is it safe to assume that you did not pre-order the Zartan?
It is safe to assume that. I'd thought about it, but I was like, I can't do it now. I can't. Like, if this had been a separate character that looked this cool, maybe. But I'm really trying to hone, like, unless it's something like crazy different, like better, crazy better, not different, because this is crazy different. Unless it's something crazy better, I don't want to keep buying the same characters. It's been one of my keys of cutting back on my collection, as much as it stinks, because there's been some really cool figures that are newer. Like the new Bat is super cool, but I've got 13 of the original Bats or something. I can't. So it was unfortunately one that I was like, I can't do it. Now if I find it at one of the shows, all bets are off. I will buy it because it's that cool. But
it's totally valid. I mean, at this lately, especially, almost everything has hit clearance. There are very few rarities, that haven't got discontinued at least a little bit over time. So I don't blame you. Just this week, Steeler and Short Fuse both went on like deep discount on Target. A 2-pack that people were just like biting. I mean, they were like going crazy to get, and it was half off. It was like it's less than the price of one brand new figure right now. So who knows? I mean, like the conscientious buyer it's a practical approach. I'm far too paranoid for that. I just pre-order everything just to make sure. And there are very, very few classified figures I've missed at this point, and I would really hate to like lose that momentum this late into the game. So this figure looks really good. We'll look at some of the other promo shots of him. He's got the Dreadnought belt buckle on, and I mean, like all the hits are here. This is such a cool, like a deep dive might be too strong of a word, but it is really a figure that I didn't expect us to see anytime in the immediate future. And I'm sure there's some reuse here, but not as much as you would expect for another version of a Zartan. In a bit, we'll look at Zanya, who comes with a swamp skier, and I'm surprised that they didn't use this as an opportunity to package him with that, or worse, package another Zartan I didn't need to make me buy the swamp skier. But he's not well known for being attached to the vehicle in this form. Not that there's not a lot of mythology behind this outfit, and just in the G.I. Joe verse in general, you hardly ever see him in it. But that doesn't make it any less cool to me. I think this is a really strong figure. I think it looks really, really good. I'm glad I was able to get the pre-order in. Who knows what the future will hold in terms of the rarity. I actually pre-ordered 2 because you never know. I mean, maybe it'll be one of those ones. I would have never thought that Snow Job would be a $100+ figure down the line. So you never know when you're buying an extra to trade or resell later what's going to be the cash cow, so to speak. Do you have any other thoughts on Ninja Force Zartan?
So I think I've talked about it before. The only negative on this figure is that it's a ninja. I'm really not a ninja guy, which is surprising. So if I get him, I will probably take his bow away and just give him a gun. I know that that's kind of lazy, but to me, I'm like, he's either shooting people with guns or he's punching people. I don't need everybody to have a sword. I like that, like Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, like that's their thing. I don't want everyone else to also be a ninja. So that's the one thing. Although you are right, this is like the design itself is like perfect for me. Like this, like when I was a kid, I'm like, this is the coolest man on earth. Like that's what I would think of as this guy with the great crazy mohawk. And then one thing that I don't know if it's just maybe a change from the top. But of all the characters that you have snuck tattoos on, and there's not a single tattoo on this, like, I am shocked. Like, of all the characters who don't have tattoos or you don't think are going to have tattoos, that, guess what? Now they have tattoos. And then this guy who, like, he could have tattoos everywhere. And I think most people would be like, okay, that's an understandable change. And it's not, but that's fine. I don't care.
Maybe they finally got the memo that we're a little burnt out on every single person having a tattoo on them. But you're right.
They might, they're gonna reuse this mold and change the colors a little bit, and then give him tattoos, and he'll be like the
Yeah.
punk Zartan or something.
He does have a Spider-Punk vibe. If I was going to change one thing about this, and it would be a change from the original, I don't think his face makeup should ever be anything other than black. Just changing it to orange to match the mohawk, and there's no other orange on him anywhere. I don't know. It's just a small
Should have made
thing,
it
but-
purple, like a dark purple to tie in with his boots.
I mean,
That would've
yeah,
been
at
cool.
least it would match, and it would still be close. Yeah, it would be dark enough because this is so
Yeah.
light. It's almost like he doesn't have it at all.
It looks almost like a birthmark, like a very specific birthmark. Like,
yeah, or like a scar or something. I don't know.
yeah,
I am pleased with this figure. I'm glad I was able to get the pre-order in. It's always can be a little frantic. I hear what you're saying about the ninjas. Zartan over time, his like mythology got more and more ninja focused as they delved into his origin. So it's not a complete out of right field. The outfit is, but the mythology is like the lore is there. So I don't know. I'm stoked with this, and that's saying something because this is one of the figures that I'm way more excited about. Some of the figures we're getting ready to look at over this one. I don't know. I do know for a fact that this is something I've been talking about maybe since the show started. And that is that this next figure had to be made eventually. And finally, she's here. Dawn Moreno, a.k.a. Snake Eyes 2, or whatever you want to call her. I think we just call her Dawn now that Snake Eyes is back from the dead. Dawn Moreno is finally here. This is it for me. This will be top 3, maybe best figure of the year. I have wanted a Dawn Moreno figure since the second she was introduced in the comic, and I've made customs of her in modern scale. I really genuinely like this figure a tremendous amount. And so I was so excited. I pre-ordered multiples, more than 2 of these, because I wanted to make sure that I got it from whoever was shipping it first as soon as possible. The Dawn Moreno classified figure is a standard, like non-deluxe. She has her Uzi. She comes with 2 swords. She has an interchangeable face, which is very important to me. So again, something I know I harp on all the time, but I'm really, really pleased that she has both the helmet with the Snake Eyes red visor and then the unmasked Dawn. It doesn't look a lot like Dawn is drawn in the comic, I don't feel like, but I'm not going to get held down by that. I didn't really have any expectations other than I wanted the outfit to look extremely faithful to the design, and it does. It looks great. This is a great looking figure, and there's no other figure I'm more excited to get my hand at this figure. I cannot wait. Dawn is, anytime you get a new figure, I think a lot about when I was a kid and they would introduce characters like Dr. Venom and Quinn and Billy, characters that did not get figures during my childhood collection of G.I. Joe that were prominently used for a large period of time. Dawn was introduced in issue 244, and we are on issue 325 of G.I. Joe. So I have waited long enough, is what I'm saying. It took too long, but I'm glad that we finally made it here. I think this figure looks great. She's got like a silver, let me start at the top and work my way down. The red visor looks great. The helmet's all good. She's got the Arashikage logo on her torso. The chest piece is separate, like armor, and you can see that it covers the red lines kind of on the side. Her weapon situation is perfect. She should have 2 katanas. Snake Eyes often carried an Uzi. It makes sense that Dawn would as well. She has almost like a dull polish on her boots and her kneecaps, which I think looks really, really cool. And I think that the unmasked head looks really good. She, much like Helix, but even longer, she has like a strand of hair that kind of is loose and comes down in front of her face. I think that's a good detail. Sometimes it gets in my way and I don't like it, but the important thing is that there is a version of her without her mask on, One, because this helmet blocks a ton of her actual face. You cannot see much of it behind it. And two, because Dawn is seen unmasked lots and lots and lots of instances in the comic. So it makes sense that she should have an unmasked head for just who knows what scenario you would need it for. If you're not big on it, then you have an alternate female head that you could use in many different scenarios for green shirts or whatever. I'm always trying to like reuse the extra parts. I've got a drawer of just extra accessories that don't go with the figure that I've displayed at that time. She also has a holster for a sidearm, which I don't see pictured here, but maybe that's for the Uzi.
No, that looks
Regardless-
like the original Snake Eyes pistol with the silencer in the front.
Okay, so maybe just not pictured here.
Yeah.
On the box in the back, you can see that she also has the Arashikage logo for storing her katanas. It's like it's a real small, simple backpack piece to house the katanas. I know how much you enjoy being able to put all the gear away. So rest easy knowing that that is also a possibility. Jaren, what's your take on Don Moreno, Snake Eyes 2?
So, I mean, I think it's cool. I'm in a unique situation because I came in without all the history, really. So to me, it's just like there's Snake Eyes and then there's the girl, the other Snake Eyes, like,
Yeah.
not in a bad way. It's just like there are two Snake Eyes. And now, granted, I know her as Dawn, mostly because I've heard you just talk about needing a Don Moreno figure for the entire time we've been doing this. But I mean, I think it's super cool. I've recently been playing with my kids, so if you're watching, there's like some holes in my shelves behind me because my kids, like literally my 3 youngest kids, have all just been coming down, and everybody grabs one for each hand, and then we just go out like right on the other side of where I record. We've got like a playroom, and we just have this big war scene. So obviously my daughters gravitate towards girls, so another girl character is a win for me because it's about time we retire the movie character, the Snake Eyes movie character, whatever her name is, Kiriko or whatever. Akiko, there you go. Not that it's bad. I'm just like, okay, give her a rest.
Yeah.
So I'm always down for more female figures, and I feel like the team went above and beyond, like you said, that little bit of like a metallic wash on like the chest armor, the knee armor. I think they knew that this was something that they had to knock out of the park. It looks like even on like the gauntlets on like the forearms and on her hands, it looks like it might have a little bit of that. And it just breaks up that black, and it looks really cool. So I think this figure looks super cool. I will honestly probably go with the unmasked head though. I don't know what it is, and maybe in person it'll look better, but I just think it looks a little too bulky of like the mask. So I will probably go with the unmasked head.
Yeah, I can see that. I think in my mind, I call her Dawn because I consider that to be her like new code name. When Snake Eyes was dead, and this was Snake Eyes pre-Throwdown, the other Snake Eyes, it made sense to call her Snake Eyes because she was taking the place of Snake Eyes. And then they brought in Sean Collins to actually put on the literal Snake Eyes outfit. He got scarred and disfigured in a very similar way, so he couldn't talk. He was basically Snake Eyes. And so from then on, it became too complicated to refer to two characters that were both dressed as a Snake Eyes as Snake Eyes. And then when the original Snake Eyes came back, and they're all 3 still around, there's no way I'm going to... So I consider her like code name to be Dawn, which is a gray enough territory to be like, it's not like her code name is like Jill. Dawn at least refers to something in the real world. It could, I don't know. I just think that makes perfect sense. Maybe they'll give her a regular code name down the line. It would make the most sense. Just like they changed Snake Eyes. They changed Sean Collins' name to Throwdown, even though he's almost never referred to it by that. I was like, at least there's some separation there.
Yeah. I get why they did it, especially with Snake Eyes being dead. I think it's better to create a new character, give her own thing, rather than be like, hey, get it. I think it can set someone up for failure. Like, hey, that character you love? Here's this new one that's going to take their place. That never works. We all watched Transformers, the animated movie. It doesn't work when you try to replace something we love with something we don't love as much. But I'm glad to see that she's still around. And, I mean, I feel like a lot of people really do love her as a character. It's just important to differentiate that we can have both a Snake Eyes and another Snake Eyes and a third Snake Eyes. So,
Yeah, I've invested enough time in this character via the comic at this point that I feel very attached to her. And I love new characters. I know there's a lot of old figure collectors out there that just don't want any more. And I'm not like that, because sometimes you have characters that have been defined so much there's no room for your imagination to like create. And we're going to look at two characters here in a bit that are both like clean slates for us to like play with, essentially, which I'm also very excited about.
oh boy.
All right.
I can't wait to see what's next.
Next up, these are kind of the traditional figures that were all shown all at the same time. This is another figure that was an exclusive. I'm not even sure where exactly, but it's the Cobra Law Guard. The Cobra Law Guard almost completes our G.I. Joe movie series. We got a Nemesis Enforcer, we got a Pythona, now we have a Cobra Law Royal Guard. The Cobra Law Royal Guard is a like junior deluxe set, and it includes the figure itself. He has 2 faces, 2 helmets, and lots of gear, including the iconic sword that they use in the animated movie. And it looks like he has some interchangeable like arm pieces, shoulder pieces that are bulkier. They have a staff that you see them use in the animated movie as well. There's wings that attach to him. They've got a cape. There's a lot going on with this, for sure. I only have one complaint with that, and it's that this becomes far too expensive to be a troop builder in my mind. And I love Cobra Law Royal Guards. I have collected vintage Cobra Law Royal Guards for many years because they're a separate faction. I'm not going to go through this speech again, but anytime you have a troop builder that's unique, not Vipers or not even Bats, or just they're our own thing. They work for Globulus, and that's it. I really like to troop build considerably. There's no way I could troop build this guy because he's going to be way too expensive. They're probably like $35. And so I did pre-order one through BBTS. He was already sold out on Hasbro Pulse, as always. But this figure looks exceptional. There's some stuff I like, and there's some stuff I don't like. They've gone into the movie and they've looked at a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of details about Cobra Law Guards in the animated movie that did not carry over to the figure. A common thread with G.I. Joe animated movie stuff, all that whole 3-pack really. They did not have capes. The original figures didn't have capes, but they all had capes in the movie. I thought they were red, but I might be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it. And they also have that staff that has the like little grabby piece on the end. That's also exclusively in the movie, so that's being actualized for the first time as well. The incredibly weird and impractical sword is the one accessory other than the pistol that actually came with the Cobra Law Guard. And I would have preferred it being silver, but I think they were going for a more movie accurate look. And at the very least, it matches the rest of the gear. You could hypothesize that because everything in Cobra Law is supposed to be like bioorganic, that it's like bone or something crazy like that, but I don't know that for sure. So the helmet that's included is great. It looks perfect. It has the little antenna that are all very commonly missing from Cobra Law vintage guards, and so much so that I sometimes don't recognize the look with the antenna in place. I'm so used to seeing it without. The other helmet that has the crazy like rhino looking horn coming out of, I'm not sure what the inspiration for that is. I don't know if that's a unique classified design, if it's featured in the movie and I'm forgetting it. Maybe it's from Void Rivals, because they are used very often there. As a matter of fact, we had never seen a Cobra Law Royal Guard unmasked until Void Rivals. And so a lot of it, I have to assume a lot of this is based on that. The blue skin is a bit of a throwback to Cobra Commander's unmasked face, who we see as like he's got like blue skin before his disfiguration. So I guess they were just like, go with the flow. If Cobra Commander was blue skinned, wouldn't they all be? And I would have to agree. The face that they have on him, where he's like the Joker, He looks so maniacal. I'm not a fan of. That's not how I'm imagining Cobra Law guards. But Cobra Law guards have changed a lot since Void Rivals, because if you've read the Void Rivals book, the Cobra Law Royal Guards are talkative, opinionated soldiers. They have a lot to say. They have a lot of... they can operate independently on their own. They're not just like generic soldiers, which is kind of how they're treated, I feel like, in the animated movie. They never speak other than the trademark Cobra la 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 la. So I feel like we're seeing a merger of a bunch of different concepts here. I feel the same way about the wings. I have no like base of concept for where the wings are from. But I don't think that's something I'm going to use either. The face that's very serious, that's the face for me, that has the scar that's kind of going across. That's the one I want to use. And I mean, he's going to have his helmet on anyway. But I like that all of these things are viable options. All the bulkiness of the armor and the jagged points really resonates the bioorganic part of it. That's like Globulus's whole thing. The whole Cobra Law thing is all bioorganic, weird snake people, very minimal technology. It's all creepy, weird stuff we've never seen or heard of before. And it all looks great. I mean, like, everything about this is a slam dunk. I would like to see a 2-pack of these, like, stripped down with less gear, just so I could get 2 at a cheaper price. This is definitely a figure I would look for at a markdown later on down the line. I'd like to have, I don't know, pretty reasonable. I'd like to have maybe between 3 to 5. I feel like it's plenty for my display. I try not to be too greedy about it, but it also depends on the price point. I think we can all relate to that. Jared, give me your thoughts on Cobra Law Royal Guard.
Sorry, I was trying to look. I literally have all my Void Rivals right next to me. So I was trying to look through and see if I could pull up a photo of them from Void Rivals. Because the reason I say that is because I absolutely love the Cobra Law Royal Guards, like, because of Void Rivals. Like, I just think they are such a cool looking character. I mean, we've watched the movie, but I really have a connection with them now because of Void Rivals. They're like such a fun troop. Seeing their like devotion, but also that they're not just mindless drones or whatever. They're super unique. They're so cool looking. The way I'm going to treat it is the guy with like the horn and all the extra stuff. That's gonna be like the leader. And then then you'll have the regular troops. I wish we got a female version of the Cobra Law Guard, just because it's in Void Rivals. There's a female one who gets injured, and it's just such a cool little setting and set of figures. So I think this thing is sick. Actually, the craziest thing about them in Void Rivals and this figure in general is it makes me want to retroactively go and get a Nemesis Enforcer when I didn't care about Nemesis Enforcer. Now I'm like, I want all the Cobra Law stuff. Like it's made me like them even more. So unfortunately, I think these things are super cool.
That's a great point, to have the horn helmet be kind of like a general or a commanding officer. Yeah. I really like that idea a lot. And I also agree with the idea of a female Cobra Law trooper. We're starting to see their whole concept fleshed out, and it's like it's their military. They're the citizens of Cobra Law, just the regular people that live there. And these are the people that have enlisted to serve, or whatever. Maybe get drafted in Cobra Law. I don't know, but they're not just you see a lot of creatures in the G.I. Joe animated movie that are just like nightmare Cthulhian looking stuff that just attacks gigantic bugs and stuff. And I feel like these guys are kind of lumped in with that. And now you start to see a different side of it. Like, they're the people that actually live there and exist, and in certain points they also fight for them. I like this figure a tremendous amount. I'm so happy to see the animated movie stuff brought back to life with a fresh set of eyes. And I mean, like, I get that this is too far for some people, but the way that they've approached it has made it cool enough that it's not both preposterous and foolish. It might be preposterous, but it's very cool looking. So yes, I'm very into this figure. I'm very excited that they made it. It's weird that they come with a pistol. It was weird that the original ones came with a pistol. As I've stated many times just in the last 5 minutes, they're a bioorganic race. They don't use guns ever. They have squids that shoot blop blops and stuff. They have four-headed eels that chew through barbed wire. So I've never really understood why the original one came with a gun. Maybe it's supposed to shoot squid ink or something. I don't know.
I really like the idea that like them as a bio whatever, like them, like I like the idea that their armor grows on them over time. And so when you see that, like in my head canon, when you see that horn, it's because they've been serving for so long, and it's almost like a natural reflection of how cool they are. Their forearm gauntlets, they get the blades, like everything's growing, they're getting more deadly because they've served along the way. They've done more stuff. Like that's like where my head goes with these characters, and I'm just like, oh, they're so cool. I want them. I
like that. I like that a lot too. I'm all in on this. I hope that there's a shot where this cape is like kind of posed, and I would love to see something in that cape that allows you to do that. You know how there are some like higher end figures that have that stuff that allows you to pose the cape. I'd like to see a little bit more of that with these. This might just be very good photo taking, but I think it would go a long way. I always think about the very first shot of the Cobra La Guard. They're jumping out of a pit, and their capes are like flying behind them, and it really resonated with me as a kid. And I'd like to be able to duplicate that to a certain degree without having to get too in the weeds. All right, let's move on. Next up is another figure that's been on my want list for an extremely long time. It's Zanya. Zanya is Zartan's daughter. She's from the Devil's Due run of comics. She was introduced like issue 1 and was around the whole time. And then, of course, when Devil's Due went away, she got sort of retconned away. If you're a long-time listener, back when we were talking about the comic, there was a specific point where I was very excited because somebody had accidentally drawn Zanya in to the A Real American Hero book, and I was like, oh, it's done now. It's canon. She exists. Because this figure got like wiped away in the retcon, I was really bummed out. She's next to like maybe Kamakura. She's one of my favorite characters from that run. So I love the classified team didn't let her get forgotten. I think Zanya is an awesome dreadnought with a cool personality. She has a unique vibe and look. She represents maybe not a specific demographic, but lots of dreadnoughts kind of have the same vibe. Like all the originals like Torch and Ripper and Monkey Wrench and Zanzibar and Thrasher are all kind of cut from the same cloth. And so Zanya being related to Zartan, Zarana, and Xandar, like actually part of the bloodline, and being young, like she's supposed to be she's not a kid, but she's younger than any other dreadnought, I think are two very interesting elements. She was written to really not get along with Zarana at all in the comic, which I'm also a big fan of, because it makes sense that the dreadnoughts would kind of butt heads a little bit. I'm not going to talk about the Swamp Skier much at all, but I will say before I get into looking at the figure that it's cool that the Swamp Skier got made. It's a perfect addition for any of the mini Zartans you might have in your collection, because that's who I wanted to go with. It originally came with Zartan, and I want him to have it, unless he doesn't fit on it, because Zanya is obviously a much smaller figure, but I don't think that will be the case. And it's one of those smaller vehicles that isn't too expensive to make, so I'm glad it exists. We don't get a lot of vehicles in this scale, and when we do get them, they've accidentally made them much larger or more expensive than I feel like they should have. So it's nice to see something like this coming out. I'd like to see more stuff like this. It looks like the skids have some up and down posability and some handlebars. There's not a lot going on, and there doesn't really have to be quite frank. I'm glad that it was I'm glad that it exists, period. That's a weird logo on the side that I'm just now noticing.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a chameleon, and it's curled up on a lightning bolt. I don't know if that's from an existing thing or not, but I like that a lot. Before we talk about the figure, Jaren, do you have any thoughts on the swamp skier?
It's honestly one of the vehicles that I'm just like, yeah, if someone likes that, that's exciting for them. In the OG, like the O-ring figures and stuff, the vehicles were some of my favorite parts. But because of the scale, I just really like even the HasLabs. Like I don't think you can see them, but like even the HasLabs, I'm like I just have no. Like they're just too big for the bigger vehicles, and then the small ones, I'm like I'd rather just not deal with them, honestly, because even the small ones are still too big for like what like the ferret or whatever. Like it's a big four-wheeler, which it's cool, but like as time has gone on and seeing how I play with them and see how me and my kids play with them together, it's just like they normally end up just throwing the vehicle and be like, oh no, it crashed. So I'm like I'm going to set that on a high shelf and not let it break because I am going to have to get this.
Yeah, I guess I feel kind of wishy-washy about it. I'm glad it's being made. It's obviously a very simple piece, which is good. I don't want to have to pay an expensive markup for Zanya by paying for this swamp skier. But I would much rather have this than the other approach, which would have been, here's another Zartan, when we're already buying a Ninja Force Zartan. So anyway, I would like to hear people's thoughts on that. The only thought I don't want to hear is people that are upset because it doesn't have another Zartan with it. Zanya is included. I will say up top that the build for this Zanya is not the best, especially compared to some of the other figures we're looking at. It makes me think of old Marvel Legends days when they would make females and the proportions were kind of just not great. Her elbows and her like midriff, these bracers, all of this kind of seems proportionately a little dysfunctional. But until I have it in hand, I've learned that you never really know how you're going to feel about it till you see it in person. A lot of G.I. Joe figures are wearing lots of web gear and vests and stuff, and that helps hide things like butterfly joints and what have you. And because Zanya is literally just basically wearing a shirt and pants, there's not a lot of opportunities to hide that, which is unfortunate. Zanya has black and gray dreadlocks, although they're seen primarily green here. She has green lipstick with like just like one streak of black on it. Face, it looks good. I don't really have a great shot of her. Well, in this shot, you can see the dreadlocks are kind of coming down over her, like over the front of her.
Yeah.
And there's also a much stronger differentiation in the green.
It'll be exciting to see this one in hand.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Because in that photo, you can kind of see the green.
I'm guessing this
green
is
in the middle.
I'm guessing, I don't know if this is a digital render, but the face, like everything from the head up seems a lot different. I'm interested in seeing how the dreadlocks work, if you can move them, if there's some strands that move separately like that or what. She has the like newer Dreadnought logo, which is over top of a Cobra logo on her shirt. The shirt itself has like some rips in it looks like, which I think is a nice attention to detail. Jaren, if you were upset about tattoos, don't you worry. Zanya's got two matching sparrows with arrows.
Sparrows with arrows.
I didn't know that was going to rhyme when I started saying it, and that made it way funnier when I was finished. On her midriff, there's some. I do like the attention, like she's got like a 6-pack, and there's some paint detail there that gives that extra depth. I like that quite a bit. I'm not a fan of these bracers on her arms at all. I like the webbed up hands with the like free fingers, and everything else pretty much business as usual. She's got some boots, she's got some green pants, she's got a holster. There's not a ton of other stuff going on there. Zanya has a helmet, which I do not like. It's like a weird Fargo-looking helmet, I guess, for what she's riding. I'm not into that at all. Her other face, she's got a crazy Jason Voorhees metal mask with Zartan red markings on it, and then you can see her dreadlocks behind. I'm not a fan of that either. You guys know I will often shun things that are too far away from the norm. It makes me think of the Road Pig faceplate that they were pushing on us also, which I was just like, no, I'm never going to use this. It's not for me. I don't have any problems with it being as a viable option. I would have preferred a different expression or removable hair, like something. I feel like something like that would have been a better fit for a figure like this.
Well, the only reason I'm saying hey there is because you don't need to downgrade Road Pig. His is awesome. I agree with you on this one, but Road Pig's is super cool.
Road Pig has such a great face. Like, it's got so much character. Zanya's accessories in general don't do anything for me at all. The gun, which I'm not recognizing, but very much looks like a gun that would come with Muskrat, it's fine.
I think all of these accessories we have seen before. Like, the shotgun is from the original Flint. We've definitely seen that knife. I can't remember where. The, like, big, huge knife.
The machete.
And that pistol is with someone as well. Because I remember seeing that and being like, that is a sniper scope on a revolver. That is an interesting... I mean, people do it. I know that that's a thing, but I'm 99% sure we've seen that.
Is that gun intended for that holster on her belt?
No, I think that's the machete.
Okay.
Machete's the holster on the belt, and then the one on the oh dang it, I don't have my phone. I was gonna do my little Google AI to check that gun because I know that that's been released somewhere, like 99% sure. But
so all the accessories I feel very meh about. I'm really just excited about the figure in general. She has 2 interchangeable hands, and it's the same design. It's just closed fist. And she also has 2 different pairs of goggles. I'm guessing because when she's on the swamp skier, I feel like they've leaned a little bit too much into the driving portion of it with the helmet and the goggles, because those are also 2 accessories I'm not going to use at all. I just feel like there would have been better implemented accessories for her other than this. But none of that changes the fact that I'm so excited to have this figure. And when I am writing, playing, thinking about G.I. Joe, I work in a very converged universe where every character and every idea kind of exists simultaneously where plausible. So for me, there's nothing that you can't put out that doesn't kind of make me excited. And figures like this that I just didn't really think we'd ever see, I'm always double excited for, because I'm just like, you guys know I love the D-listers, and while I wouldn't consider Zanya to be a D-lister, I'm always so pleased and surprised when somebody like this comes our way.
I feel very similar to you with the accessories. Like, I don't think I'll use any of her accessories with her, like, at all. What I'll probably end up doing is do like a thigh holster and giving her a pistol. I'll probably cut off her machete thing because it just depends on how that attaches. I think the belt is okay, but I will not use that face mask. I would be tempted to use that like helmet if there was a way to still see her hair underneath, but I don't. I think looking at the photos, it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to see hair underneath it. I think it's going to kind of take the spot of the hair. And if that's the case, then it will. I'm probably not going to be.
I've just noticed on the box art that she does have a small piercing underneath her lip, which is comic book accurate. I could not tell that from the figure, so I do like that a lot. This face looks better too over here.
Yeah, I think this is one that'll be fun to see in person. I hope that figure looks better because, like you said, the proportions are a little weird. But it also makes me laugh because I went to high school with multiple people that looked exactly like this, so that's always fun. So But I think it's a fun figure. I think this will be a good one that my kids will like to play with because they're going to be like, oh, this is the bad girl. And that kind of thing. So it'll be fun.
Jaren, I'm going to let you primarily talk about Hydro Viper. I'll just want to say at the beginning that I've never been a big fan of the Hydro Viper. I've always been an eels guy, and I didn't really see the need to have another water dude. I don't think there's anything wrong with this character. Bridges, I don't know. It's hard for me to put my finger on it, but I just was like, I don't need another underwater guy. I've got the eels, and they're basically perfect the way that they are. This is also this very much seems like a Jaren figure. What are your thoughts on the Hydro Viper?
So I am so torn on this because on the one camp over time I have cared less and less for the crazy hyper specialized troops, like underwater figures. I don't play underwater because I can't hold my breath very long. I have not in a very long time taken toys into me and taken a bath. So that is not something I do a whole lot. But on the flip side, this thing is so cool. So I will probably work in some kind of alternate explanation. I probably won't use the web feet, I don't think. And he'll just be something crazy. I might stick him in with my the crystal ball and the dire vipers or whatever and make him some weird mythical thing. Because I do think he is so cool and so unique and also purple is legitimately one of my favorite colors. So I respect when they do a full-on hard crazy purple instead of muting it and doing a pale grayish purple. So that part is super exciting. The manta ray I know will 100% or whatever the little creature is will 100% be stolen by my son the moment I get that. Because he steals all of the animals that I get, and I'm okay with that. But I think this thing I think it is a cool. There's some cool attention to detail. There's the scales on the head, the chest, on the gauntlets on his arm. I think that's a cool touch. You've got it on the outsides of the sheaths, or holsters or whichever, both. I think it's really cool. I will find a place to put him, but I will de-emphasize the underwater part. And actually, looking at it, the way that they designed those feet, I might actually keep those feet on there and just lean all the way into it. Just, he's a failed experiment, and he looks rad.
He's got giant chicken feet.
He's got giant chicken feet. But they designed it well to where it actually looks pretty good. Having the red on the feet already so that it isn't just very clearly something stuck on the foot extra, and then giving him kind of the longer fingers and claws on that, you really could play it off. I might try to see if I can snip those wires on his face mask and get rid of the scuba tank, because I think that would help as well.
Yes, from a design perspective, I have no complaints. The classified team did a great job. He's extremely faithful. The web hand, the flippers, the mask, it's all exactly as it should be. This figure is just one of the many, many Vipers that I feel like aren't really necessary. I have no love for this character. If it's your thing, that's great. I'm glad it's being made. There are very few figures where I'm just like, they should not have made him. It's just not something I just don't get worked up over it at all. But they've hit every bullet point that you would need to make the Hydro Viper. And I also accept that you have to make troop builders because troop builders obviously sell more because there are people buying many, many, many multiples across the board, no matter who it is. All right. Well, with that in mind, let's move on. The first new character I want to talk about is Sundown, Alejandro Balam Luna Mendoza. Sundown looks like the guy from Overwatch quite a bit.
Yeah.
When they showed why did they even show the silhouette of this guy and to be like, hey, guess who's next? Nobody knows who's next. We've never seen this guy before. They just wanted to be like, just get disappointed when it's not Retro Wild Bill, the only other figure you could possibly conceive fitting in that silhouette.
Yeah.
So I have spent some time really looking at this figure. Specifically, when they posted the file cards on their social media, I was like, tell me about them. And Sundown, whose working title name was Mountain Heart, has got a lot of like cool backstory. His father was killed by Headman. He became a bounty hunter, like Tracker. His brother went into law enforcement, both with revenge in mind. Headman and this organization called Lords of the Underworld, which I guess is going to be a rebranding of Headman's whole paramilitary empire, captured the brother, and now Sundown seeks vengeance no matter what. This also, I mean, how much more confirmation do you need that Headman is in the works? They've already taken the time. We've seen a snippet of the fact that they're retooling Headman and whatever Lords of the Underworld as a organization is going to be. This figure design is very cool. It's always interesting when you get a character, doesn't even have to be a new character, that's got like a whole, like he exists outside of space and time, and much in the same way that Wild Bill is just like a cowboy in an American military. Yeah. It makes me think of that. He's just like a very different and unique type of character compared to normal soldiers that you would see on the line. The figure design looks great. He has those tattoos that you were been talking about so much. He's got some kind of like...
It's like wings, like an eagle or something.
It is definitely
a mistake. It looks like an eagle that has a snake.
It's definitely a mistake to split that tattoo between his neck and his torso, because it's only going to line up in one specific way. And there's also something going on his wrist down there.
It looks like a bird has a snake in its claws. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
On the neck.
I'm not sure what he's
on
got.
his forearm, I can't tell. It almost looked like a bull or a horse or something.
Yeah. All of the
I like the little jaguar on the... Like a jaguar, like a Mayan kind of thing.
Yeah,
on his belt buckle. That's cool.
He's got a ton of like Spanish-ish like nods here. Both that belt buckle and this little blue like skull coin looking thing. I mean, like there's a lot of really good authentic detail. The detailing on his revolvers is very cool.
Oh, he's
like
got
on
the jaguar heads on those.
Yeah. Yeah, just on the like hilt of the gun. I think that's all really good. He's got a removable hat, and then he's got a little like you can see he's got a scar over his eye. His hair comes down. I think this is all really, really cool. The back of his like poncho is rad. It's like all Mayan, like I don't know, like not hieroglyphics, but like whatever you call that specific type of symbols. And it's got like, you can see it's damage at the bottom where it's been ripped and worn, and he's been through multiple combats with it. Spurs on the back of his boots. I mean, like, it's a really cool, well-designed figure. I love a new figure. And it's important to make new figures. It might not seem like it, but there are people that are just now discovering and getting interested in G.I. Joe with Classified. And it's important for those people, even especially younger kids that are playing and collecting it, to have figures for them to connect with that they don't have to read 30 years worth of history to understand. This guy has one file card and that's it. You read that and then you can explore the rest of it yourself. I think that's an important and forgotten aspect of it. I like when they make new characters. It's also... I think it's important that the people that are doing the creating behind the scenes at Classified University are also able to unleash their imagination and come up with stuff that they think will work and is cool in the universe. We are seeing characters that I never thought would get actualized. And if the line continues to be successful, it's not impossible that we'll see a large majority of every G.I. Joe character ever. It might be lofty, but we've made more headway than I ever thought we would. So it's fine for them to buffer. People that go in the comment section and go, Why did you make this guy when you haven't made Spearhead and Max yet? Well, it's because if you make every character that you want now, in 5 years, no one will be buying the line anymore. So let them play and stretch their legs a little bit. And then just be excited for when you do get that character that you haven't seen yet. And there are plenty of characters like that. There are so many characters left that I'm excited to see. There are characters that have never gotten a figure, like Don Moreno, that I would love to see, that have got history. And I'm also equally excited for characters like this that we're seeing for the first time ever. Characters that allow me to write some history, make some stories, come up with some cool ideas. Jaren, do you have any last thoughts on Sundown?
I think this guy is going to quickly jump into my top tier of favorite classifieds. I think I like when everything works together, everything fits the theme, and like everything tells a story together. And then, like you said, I like that I can decide, hey, I'm going to start, I'm going to say that this guy's doing this and that, and it doesn't matter because I'm not throwing away 30 years of 40 years of history for some of these characters and deciding to do my own thing with them. This is someone new. It's like a blank slate. Yeah, there's a little bit there. They gave us a kernel, but it's not like he can't have been living around in the Southwest being a tracker, or couldn't have went to wherever and did this. Like it's so much open. I think it's cool. There's like, why does he have a tomahawk? I don't know. It's cool. Like it's its own little thing. His knife, everything, like they fit thematically together. They look good together. All the accessories, the color palette. The one thing that I might do, and this is without obviously getting it in person and seeing how it works, I don't like when it gets too tight up in the chest. Like I like the figures that don't have all the crazy web gear, so that's the only thing that worries me. Seeing how much he's got there, it looks like it's going to be a lot. It's going to be hard for him to do some of those poses and things like that. But that will be something that I have to do in time. My immediate thought was, I'll just get rid of the poncho. That'll help. But the poncho's so cool, and it fits it looks like it's so important to the character. It's just, it'll be interesting to see. I get why they did the removable hat. It's just, it's always a hard time for me when they have removable hats because the hats always fall off. So hopefully they have a way to kind of attach it a little more solidly, like they've done some of them. Some of the figures, their hats attach a little better than others, so hopefully.
Yeah, it's hit or miss, but at least this way I can have him tip at his hat like, howdy, Marm.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got another classic. This is an 85er, so he's a true heavy hitter. It's Airtight. Airtight, a character that they didn't have to copyright his first and last name along with his code name in order to get it on the box. You guys know the first thing I'm going to say. Airtight has a removable helmet, and it's the first time he's ever had a removable helmet. And not only does he have a removable helmet, they took the time and gave him that like widow's peak look that he had in the cartoon. Because that's the only time we've ever really seen Airtight with his helmet off, so that's the only unmasked face we have to go off of. It doesn't look exactly like the cartoon, but that hair would have been the defining thing for me. And it's here. You don't see a lot of G.I. Joes with hair loss, which makes me feel better as a bald man. This figure is one of those figures that is success in simplicity. He has everything that the original Airtight came with. He's got his little backpack thingy for whatever cleaning. And I don't know what this crazy gun is. It's some kind of chemical scrubber or vacuum or water flusher. But the hose attaches to it. It attaches to the backpack, and then he cleans. I'm going to guess, based on what I know about Airtight, it probably pulls fumes out of the air, like you would clean up toxic fumes with it. That's just I'm just hazarding a guess. He comes with a sidearm and goes in his holster, and that's pretty much it. And guess what? That's all you need, baby. He looks great. He looks exactly like I would want him to look. If there's anything, the only thing that could possibly go wrong with this figure is if his helmet doesn't match up with his eyes correctly. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because he has these two hoses that attach from his helmet to the side, to his backpack. Yeah. And the vintage version of this figure is a nightmare. If you attach those hoses, they're always pulling loose. You can't move his head. It is impossible to do anything with it. So my only concern is that when you have those hoses attached, they either don't stay attached or they pull his helmet in a way that make his look kind of goofy. But the suit, his like outfit has a sort of bagginess to it that you would expect from an eco suit. He's got all kinds of like dials and bells and whistles on his chest plate that match up with like the decontamination part of his job. I really like this figure a lot. I sometimes complain about figures that are so close to the original mold and design that they lack that pop of creativity and it doesn't grab me. I use Airborne as an example a lot. And more recently, Hit and Run, I felt like was lacking a little something that I couldn't put my finger on it. But maybe partially because Airtight's color scheme is so vibrant. I'm just like, yep, that looks like him. He's got everything he came with. He's perfect. The only thing that ever needed to be changed was I needed his helmet to come off, and now it does. The end. Like, this is a slam dunk for me, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about him. I think he is... It's just one of those ones that it looks like they brought the original action figure up into the modern classified line. Like, there's nothing... They didn't put a face tattoo or sneak anything crazy in there to change it up. It is what... It's... I think he has a cool design. It's unique. Everything fits. His suit looks like it should look. He looks airtight, and I think it all works together. I hope that this shows that we do want guys in yellow suits so that I can eventually get a clean sweep, and we'll see where we go.
Clean sweep at Ozone coming in hot. Right, so I got nothing else to say. He looks good. I'm very excited for it.
Heck yeah.
All right, we've got 2 figures left, and unfortunately, we have lots to talk about with both of them. The next character is Cobra. They're calling him Cobra Overkill, but we would most normally know him as just Overkill. The first thing I'm going to notice about this Overkill, something that probably a lot of you guys have noticed, he's got a human head underneath that mask, and I don't like that. Because up to a certain point, and I'm not going to be able to put my finger on exactly when, but early versions of Overkill are that he is just a robot. The original file card suggests that he's just an extremely expensive bat prototype, and they could only make one of them because he was so good and so expensive, even though he's constantly like malfunctioning. In the cartoon, the bad cartoon, he's a robot, and he's a dunderhead, to put it gently. He's stuttering, and it doesn't seem like they put a lot of money into him. And that's how I've always used him. And I like Overkill a lot. He's kind of goofy, but also there's something kind of cool about him at the same time. He came with a lot of cool accessories. His hand was interchangeable. I had always liked the bats to begin with, so it made kind of perfect sense that I would like a super bat just as much. This figure is my least favorite figure of the ones revealed. I do not feel like this figure is a good, souped-up version of the original or a faithful rendition of the original. Too much stuff has been changed, and the color scheme seems wrong. It just does not connect with me in the way that I would have hoped. His feet look weird. They're red. He's got like weird robo-toes. The bronze, I think the bronze look is the wrong approach. The chest plate part, it just all isn't clicking with me. It doesn't connect right, and it just is a big turnoff. The gun that comes with him is too big. I like the blade interchangeable hand. I like the claw interchangeable hand. I'm okay with. The kind of weird last, like in some iterations it's like a brainwashing thing, and others it's a laser. That last gun, I'm sort of like, I'd have to see it in action. and then he has a faceplate to cover up his horribly scarred human face. Now, in fairness, later versions of Overkill, specifically in the Devil's Due run, they do portray him as a human. As a matter of fact, in the Devil's Due run, the Saw Viper that notoriously killed many G.I. Joes in the Real American Hero run is later converted and turned into Overkill in Devil's Due. And more recently, in the Real American Hero run that Larry Hama wrote, he made an Overkill, and it was also a human subject. And he does not look anything like he doesn't look like any version of Overkill we'd ever seen in the past. It's almost like they just had to use that trademarked name because they had it laying around. So, what I really wish is that this figure had an interchangeable head that did not suggest that there was anything human behind it at all. The file card for Overkill is different. It talks about a human subject that's now more robot than man. And again, none of that is clicking with me at all. I really just want him to be a super, super duper bat. And he leads the other bats into battle. As a matter of fact, if this faceplate wasn't a thing and this head mold was just one piece and there was no flesh behind that visible eye, I would be a little bit more on board. It's supposed to be, if I'm remembering correctly, it's supposed to be more like a gold than a bronze. Regardless, I don't have to look at original Overkill to know that the color scheme on this is wrong on multiple levels. I feel like this is a big miss. In a wave of almost perfect editions, this one does not do it for me. And that's a bummer because I don't feel like we'll get a second. I don't think like this is going to get a do-over. I don't think a retro Overkill is in our cards anytime in the near future. He does. I don't have a picture of it here. It's on the back of the box. But he does have his iconic chest plate open gunfire reins. His little shotgun thing. Hey, sorry, just real quick. On the back of the box, it looks very gold. Do you see that?
Yeah.
This is exactly what it should look like. I mean, not exactly, but this is way closer. Like, I like this much more than the like copper version that I'm looking at on these on the like in. Yeah. This is a big miss, man. Looking at it with the gold, it actually is borderline pretty acceptable. The copper color is a flopperooski. It even looks like they made him out of copper. They're like, here's the most expensive bat we've ever made. But we used copper. We smelted copper wire down to make his appendages. So I'm wondering if something went wrong there, or if there was a change at the last minute. Regardless, you definitely shouldn't have included this picture because now at the last minute I've realized what a huge faux pas you guys have made. And this looks much better. What a bummer. Anyway, his chest plate opens. He's got a shotgun that folds down. It's such a corny, goofy gimmick, but I do love the idea of Joe's like having him cornered or surrounded or captured, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't need my hands to defeat you guys." Click. I think that would be really funny. Jaren, what are your thoughts on Overkill?
You know, I love getting to come in and disagree with you and be like, "You're wrong, Greg." That this is not the case on that one. There's like. Normally, weird, crazy, unique characters excite me. This one, I don't know what it is. I'm just like, oh, okay. It is unique. It is weird. I do love that the chest opens up and has a little shotgun. I think that's fun. If I get this figure, he will never have his gun. He will always have his faceplate. He'll probably have a sword hand, and he will, in my headcanon, be a robot. He will. I don't even know if I'd put him with the bats. Now, granted, it is what it is. I guess that's what he does. But he just, I don't know. It's not seeing the photos. It's not doing anything for me. There's not like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Like some of these other ones when we saw them, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. It's not that. Yeah,
you can even see on the side of the package art that it's gold there as well. I have to assume that this has been a production error.
Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll look more gold in hand. Maybe. Let's hope.
I mean, I might actually buy one and paint it gold. I just hate to do that because I will not touch him once if I've painted a figure. I'm not going to be able to just like go crazy with him. Yeah. But this is bottom of the barrel. This is like a worst of the year candidate, guys. Overkill's already a sub-popular character. He's not a heavy hitter by any means. So I think this is really going to do him in.
All of this, and he's going to end up probably being one of the like $100 figures.
You never know, right? The last figure we have to talk about today is a figure that, as soon as I saw him, I was like, well, this is a figure that Jaren and Joel need to see right away because they're both huge Jurassic Park nuts. They both loved the dinosaurs. Joel and I talk an awful lot about the Dino Trackers line of G.I. Joes for what it is in the mythology. So I knew that they were going to be super pumped for it. And guess what? So am I. It's Professor Rockclaw and a Cobra Dionysus. I think that's how you pronounce it. So this is another brand new character. I, again, spent a lot of time going over his file card. And he's got a great file card. The whole idea is Professor Rockclaw as a kid was obsessed with the idea of dinosaurs. He wanted his own dinosaur. He got into science to Hammond style make his own dino. And then when the laws prevented him from like crossing that line, he said, well, forget you guys. I'll just go Island of Dr. Moreau on it. And he went to Cobra. And Cobra said, we'll give you the resources to make us dinos also. And Rockclaw went, great. I mean, I don't really care what they if they have any allegiance at all. I just want to make dinosaurs. What a cool guy. He's not really a Cobra. He's just a dinosaur guy. He doesn't care what happens to him. He doesn't care who they kill. He just wants dinos. Most of the people that have seen, I don't have a lot of dinosaur toys in general, just a couple things here and there that my daughter and I play with. But most people have seemed to suggest that this is a really well-made dinosaur figure, that it is at the very least on par with the Jurassic Park stuff, but most people seem to think better. And based on my experience, the one Jurassic Park dinosaur that I own has a part of his back that you pull out and it has a map of Jurassic Park on it. I'm not sure who thought that was a cool idea, but it's a real reality breaker. It became a running joke with my daughter and I, where the dinosaur would walk around and be like, hey, do you guys want to know where Jurassic Park is? I got a map built into my back. So I'm glad that it doesn't even anything goofy or crazy like that. It doesn't have any weird gimmicks or anything. It looks like it has quite a bit of posability in the hands, and there's a elbow in the knee and the foot. The tail has some kind of posability in it. And I'm guessing that he's got a harness in this photo, but I'm guessing, the neck has some posability, and the head does also. So pretty cool. I mean, like, this is a great example. All I do is talk about, if you know, I got a laundry list of pet peeves, right? I'm pretty easygoing about it overall, but I don't like pets. And I especially don't like pets that don't serve a purpose. Road Pig doesn't need a doggy or whatever because he's never had one. It's kind of nonsensical. But this guy makes dinos. He comes with a dino. I'm all in on that concept. I like it a lot. He has a piece of armor that goes over his head to go into battle. That's so cool. Like, what a great idea. So they've also, you can see he's got like, they've cattle ironed him with the Cobra logo, which I bet they love. So you could see that he's like belongs to Cobra, or he's one of the Cobra minions. Even the G.I. Joe cartoon has an episode where they go to an island and Cobra's making dinos. Like, it's been existed. Dinosaurs have been around in the G.I. Joe universe, whether you like it or not, in pretty much all versions. The professor himself is a very interesting figure. And I would like to give a shout out to G.I. Joeberg. I don't remember where, I think at a certain point they were campaigning to have a figure from Johannesburg, which is where they were from. And I think it was Naugahyde that they were pushing for, because he didn't have I might be wrong about that, but there was a character that they were like, he doesn't have a determined place of origin, give him to us. Well, somebody must have been listening, because that's where Rockclaw is from. And I'm super happy for them. So just to be clear, G.I. Joeberg got their wish, and Christopher McLeod got the little drone thing for Tripwire. So my last name is spelled with an E. That's Engle. If you guys got something down the line that you want to dedicate to me, a diehard G.I. Joe fan his whole life, I'm just saying, it wouldn't. My daughter's middle name is Zartan. I'm fully invested in the line, guys. Throw me a bone. Rockclaw has got a lot of cool stuff going on. He's got like paint underneath his eyes. He's must be a fairly older guy because his eyebrows are white. He's got this like white mohawk, Ninja Force Zartan style. He's got a pretty decent set of armor. He has a little, I know that this is some kind of training thing. He's got like a hook or claw piece that comes off of his arm. I don't have any further insight to that, but it seems like something related to dinosaur training. Not either that or it's supposed to be like a raptor claw or something that he uses as a weapon. I would accept either one of those. It's just in this photo it's really bent off to the side. He has a whip, which I'm also sure the dinosaurs are a big fan of. And then he's armored up in these kind of like classic Viper colors, which I think is really cool. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this guy. Oh, and he has that cool helmet too. That has like multi lenses, multi scopes. Like he can see a bunch of different, like night vision, etc., etc. I like all of that, man. I'm a big fan of both of the new characters. I'm going to have a lot of fun introducing them into the Joe-verse and coming up with new story ideas and concepts with them. Well done. I mean, like, for real. I'm very pleased with this concept. I'm happy for the people that I would love to see dino trackers. You know, the death of the line of G.I. Joe, basically, most people will say is Star Brigade and Dino Trackers. Because Dino Trackers was already just a Toys R Us exclusive at the time. It came with one of the worst dinosaur toys you've ever seen in your whole life. But I enjoy the low light and ambush figures that they came with. And it's got a repaint, the Desert Fox. It's got a repainted Desert Fox, which I think is very cool. They had their own like unique color palette for the team. I'm not saying go all in with the repaints, but if you're looking for something to repaint, and we already have a low light and an ambush, I would buy it for sure, man. You could package either both of them together or package both of them separately with a dino, and I think both of those would be really, really cool. Jaren, my dino-loving friend, what do you think about Professor Rockclaw?
I mean, it's right up my alley. It's so cool. I love this. There's like seeing this get revealed. I was like, this has made my day, my month, my week, maybe forever. I think it's so cool. My initial thoughts. I have two. There's two ways I can go on this, and I'm reserving the right to change at any point in my canon. The first is probably the more acceptable option. That is, like, you see the dino helmet, you see it covers his eyes. He's got the cool helmet that has the lenses. There's he can, like, basically they're so in tune and connected that he can, like, help him in combat. He sees what the dinosaur sees, and, like, they work together. That's, like, in my mind, that's the first thought where I'm like, yeah, he's vicious and doing this. He's just a psychopath who loves dinosaurs. He loves them as like killing machines, and I think it's cool. And then there's the Jaren path, which is like, he did this. He joined Cobra. He got his dinosaur. This is basically a giant golden retriever. They had to give him a mask to make him look more vicious because he's really just a big old baby. And like, in my headcanon, they might switch sides. They might just be like, we're just going to go off on our own and do our thing. And he now has a dinosaur, because that's what I would want. I don't need to eat people. I would have a dinosaur. How cool is that? So then that's where my initial headcanon is going to be for these characters. We're going to fall somewhere. But I mean, it's just, I am not going to say that people shouldn't feel some kind of way. If your G.I. Joe is military and green shirts and more traditional and go, like, the cool part to me about G.I. Joe is that we can all share this universe, and no one's necessarily right or wrong. Unless you hate dinosaurs, then you're wrong. But we all have this universe we share, we talk about, we can We can enjoy, and not everything has to be for everyone. If you don't want 3 Snake Eyes and you just want one, cool, go for it. If you want 17 Snake Eyes and you want every version of Snake Eyes to be their own dude, hey, go for it. I don't care. Enjoy your universe and do whatever you want to do. But I'm not going to tell you you're wrong if you don't like the dinosaur. Like, I'm not going to get in some debate and be like, you're wrong. This dinosaur's cool and you should love it. Because if you don't, okay, you don't. But for me, man, I think this thing's the coolest thing I've seen. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. I will pre-order this one.
I only get heated when people are like, this doesn't belong in G.I. Joe. Because, quite frankly, anything belongs in G.I. Joe. Yeah. It might not be for you, and that's totally fine. But there's you can put anything in this universe, in my opinion, and it's built in a way that you can make it work if you're creative.
I mean, we have the Fatal Fluffies. Like, you can't say things don't fit, and we have the Fatal Fluffies, we have Giants, we have, all this other stuff.
Yeah, the file card for this guy also name drops Paleo Vipers, which is a concept that I have to assume is something that they're also dabbling with, for maybe based on the reception of this. But I would be interested in seeing how that develops. If it doesn't turn into something, what the community kind of takes and runs with it. On a later episode, I would also really like to hear Joel's thoughts on this, because I know that he'll be in, even though Joel's not a classified guy anymore, I'm sure he has lots of thoughts on this in general. I'm sure he would really like this in a modern figure, as we all would. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any thoughts on this figures, what you've pre-ordered, what you haven't, what's your standout hits and what's your flops, please leave a comment here. Write us an email at anythingjoespod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. You can find us on social media at anythingjoespod, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on whatever, Blue Sky. We got it all, baby. File Cards Volume 4 Definitive Edition is out now, and Volume 5 I'm wrapping it up. I've been working on it around the clock. I'm waiting on my audio engineer guy to do some remastering. And if you have the interest and the time to listen to it, I would love that. If not, that's okay too. We'll be back in 2 short weeks. We have been working around the clock on a discussion about the Energon universe, which we're very excited to share with you. It just has to be at a time where all 3 of us can be together at the same time, because we all have very, very large sums of words to say about the Energon universe. And we're all collecting different figures and toys, and we've all got different passion about G.I. Joe there. But one thing we can agree on is that all of us are reading the comic, and we all have lots of thoughts about it. Anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in just 2 short weeks, where anything's available for discussion here on Anything Joe's.
Born in Johannesburg with silver spoon in hand.